early, but we have a guest tonight, so we do not want to be too late. Everybody, welcome. I want to make sure everybody got the blueprint for tonight, and there's some additional information. And Robert, you can tell me about the cool area here. But if it would be all right with you, we normally have a few things that we cover immediately, but we are very excited about our guest speaker. So what we'd like to do is go ahead and have Robert do the introduction for us. And I know, as you always do, you'll have questions for our guest speaker. So go ahead, Robert.
Thanks, Elizabeth. So hello, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday, and welcome to the second week of December. We'll go over the roadmap later on after we have a guest speaker. It's my privilege. I'm going to introduce Mr. Timur Taluy. Timur is a really unique person that I hope all of you get a chance to listen and hear his story. You'll have some time to ask any questions. But Timur is, I've known Timur for the last 6 years now, 6 years maybe. And so we actually sit on a board together with a local credit union. Timur is actually the vice chairman of CDC Federal Credit Union, which is about a $500 million organization. I happen to be his treasurer. And Timur is here to talk to you about his educational upbringing and his brief career for a Fortune 100 company and what he's doing now. And there's, I want to spend more time talking about his bio, but it's actually here in close for you. It's on page 2 of your handout. And so let me just introduce Timur, and if we could all give him a warm welcome.
I was told by the guy who came was supposed to stand over here. All the time. So as Robert said, my name is Timur, and thanks Robert for that nice introduction. He said just to kind of go over kind of my story and just stop any questions because I have to be out of here at 15 till because I have 2 kids. One's 4-month-old and he likes a lot of attention. But so I went to Oxnard High School, grew up in Oxnard, went to 3 different schools. I went to Sierra Linda, Elm Street School, Harrington, Fremont, and then made my way up to Oxnard High, and graduated there in '94. And then I went off to USC to college, and I studied electrical engineering. So I was at USC doing electrical engineering, and I was an elected student senator there. I got really involved in the campus activities. So when you guys move on to your college careers, one of the things that I really say is fun to do is get involved in the college community, whether it's clubs or getting elected to student body offices or whatever it is, because even though I was doing electrical engineering curriculum, you get kind of stuck into this academic program, and if you don't kind of pop your head up and do other things, you really miss out. Like I won $10,000 on The Price is Right because I was a member of the Engineering Student Council. They needed to raise money, so they all watched The Price is Right, and I won The Price is Right. It was really cool. So then after college, well actually in college, so my dad had always done taxes for a living. He always had a business where we did taxes. And when I was in college, this concept of filing your taxes electronically was really kind of growing. In the 80s, if you want to file your taxes, you had to send them on paper. The IRS received 100 million paper tax returns. And now they receive 120 million electronic tax returns, right? And so you can imagine how it is processed with paper, right? You're shuffling through 100 million of these things versus they'll go on the computer and you just look at it. And so the IRS is trying to figure out ways to get more people to file electronically. And so we were going to create a business. My dad wanted to create a business to help tax preparers, because at the time you had to be a tax preparer to file electronically. And I was at USC, and if you guys can imagine, there wasn't this thing called the internet. We just had email, this like really kind of ghetto kind of internet system, and you could send messages to your friends and bother them. Girls thought all those guys were stalkers because we like send them messages and they'd say where this come from. But I said to my dad, I said, this internet thing is growing. Why don't we actually put it online for people, right? And so you don't have to go to a tax preparer. You just go to the website and put the information in, and you can file electronically with the IRS. And so we did that, and we built a web page, and it was kind of rocket science. I see you guys have web and graphic design here, right? It was one of your projects, right? And we put it up, and if you went to Yahoo and typed taxes, it was us. There wasn't like a million results. It was just us, right? And we partnered with these folks in Santa Barbara because, again, to get internet access was a really complicated, expensive thing. It wasn't just something you could have in homes. And so there was a company up in Santa Barbara called the Regional Alliance for Internet. And they had dial-up modems, and they had the ability to put web pages up. Because you couldn't just create a web page. You had to have like permission to create a web page somewhere. And so we were part of that community. We provided tax advice and tax services to them. And so it was in college that we started this whole thing. We started writing software, and I started learning more and more about how to write tax software. Because in electrical engineering, you learn how to like make lights come on and make things catch fire. You don't necessarily learn how to write software. So it was more of a computer science thing. So I learned that. And then, like Robert said, right after I graduated college, I went to work for IBM. And so one of the things that companies always do when you work for them, they make you promise that any kind of creations you do or working for them, they just own, right? So all of you that have cool ideas about projects and inventions and things, you know, all of these 24 ideas here, when you go to work for somebody, make sure you tell them that you're doing this. You tell them you have this project on the side. Otherwise, if you become really rich and famous, they're going to come and say, well, he did it while he worked for us, so it's really our idea, not our property. So when you go to work for somebody, you just fill it out in the form, say, hey, I'm working on this is mine, I'm not giving it to you, and you keep it. So I went to work for IBM, did that sort of thing. I told IBM, hey, I have this technology project that my family and I are working on, and it doesn't make any money, so I have to get a job, and my dad had to do his other stuff. And so after a few years, I worked for IBM for 4 years, we built this business up and this business up, getting bigger and bigger, and then back in 2001, I moved back to Oxford. And been living here ever since again. And we have an office in Ventura over by Market Telephone. I don't know if you guys remember that is. But that's where our office is. We have like 20 people that work for us now. It's pretty crazy because we're just planning our company Christmas party, and somebody said we have 20 people that work for us. I said, 20 people, what? And yeah, we have interns. We have actually the president of the Moore Park College Computer Science Club, who just graduated and went to Santa Cruz last year. He's been doing an internship with us with 2 of his friends, and so we have folks at in community colleges, we have folks in colleges doing interns and learning from us. We have a bunch of programmers that we're going to actually write software for people to file their taxes. They would say what we do. We develop tax software. It's called fileyourtaxes.com. And so we're the folks that develop that. We have graphic designers that help us build the graphics and interfaces that people work with. We have sales team. We have 10 people just dialing all day long. You walk into our office, it's amazing. They speak 3 different languages. You'll walk in, you'll just hear 3 different languages at any time of like people talking to tax preparers, trying to sell them software. So we sell our software to tax preparers. We also sell it like directly to people like you who file taxes. So it's really exciting. And Robert said I should comment on my clothes as an entrepreneur to really dress however you want. There's a big meeting for the credit union where if I have to fly to DC, I have suits and ties on, I shave. When I'm home, I try to wear short sandals and casual environment. The last couple of years, I got nominated to a congressional committee, so I had oversight over the IRS. So we wrote, every year we wrote a report to Congress saying if the IRS is doing a good job or not. So the commissioner of the IRS always says, anybody wants to beat up the IRS, and you guys actually get to do it. So we have to have fun with that. And so we've had a lot of challenges. I mean, it's not easy. I'm sure you guys know that we're going through those challenges. That was the only program I had prepared, Robert. I mean, I can keep talking, or do you guys have any questions or thoughts, or kind of does this apply to any of the work you're doing that I can answer questions for? I mean, portable internet, Edward. Like, is there a question about how portable internet can work, or do that? Is something that I can engage in?
Well, I just want to know, has the market of online tax filing expanded over the years, or is it just you guys? Or?
So there's about 24 companies that offer tax software, and about 18 of them offer it over the internet. So back in 1996, when we first started, it was just us. And then in 98, there were 4 of us. And now there's that many, and it doesn't grow or shrink anymore, but that's pretty much where we are.
And how do you guys stay competitive with them?
So it's actually a real challenge, because you have folks like Intuit who spend literally $300 to $400 million a year on marketing, you can't fight them. You can't just buy Google AdWords and win, right? Because they own the Google AdWords. I mean, and H&R Block spends another couple $100 million a year, and so you can't fight, right? So how do you do it? Niche marketing, like work with college alumni associations, work with community groups, church organizations. Like you have to it's guerrilla marketing, right? You have to think of all the different ways you can do that. Because if you think about it, filing your taxes is not really something anybody looks forward to. I don't know how many of you guys have filed a tax return before. Yeah, you're not going to look forward to it.
They're entrepreneurs. They're going to need to learn how to do that. You're going to make a lot of money.
It's not the most exciting thing. You sit around and like the normal story is you argue with your husband or wife and you sit there and type the stuff on the computer. And in the old days, you used to write with a pen, paper, or pencil and cross things out and have coffee stains on it. It's always like a rite of passage for an American. When we modernized it, we have always kept that kind of core customer base. We have a great renewal, and we just hit them all different kind of ways that we can, trying to find affinity. So whether you use TurboTax or H&R Block or us, you really don't care. Like the average consumer doesn't really care who they file taxes with. So how do you make it so that it somehow benefits them or makes it easier or faster? So we pride ourselves on ease, simplicity. We don't try to sell them a mortgage while they do their taxes. There's a lot of things we do to make it kind of a better experience, and also we kind of get them in a way that means something to them. That would answer your question.
Yeah.
Looking back at your experience, okay, and knowing what you know now, would there have been any way to either copyright or get a patent on the process when you were starting?
So that's actually a big issue in the tax industry is can you patent the process of doing taxes, right? And the answer is really no, because the Congress passes a law and says that you make so much money and you have to pay taxes in this way, right? And then so the IRS goes and creates forms and publications and gives you very specific instructions. So the process that you use to file a tax return is prescribed by the government. So if anybody could patent it, really it'd be the government, because the government's the one who decides, here's how you do it, right? If you came up with some other process, well, A, you'd have to get it approved by the government, and then it would probably be a challenge. So there's no real way to do that. You can copyright your logos, you can copyright your different contents and stuff, which we do. But the actual process of filing a tax return, it's not something that we came up with. It's something that the government does.
So, Tim, I have a question. How old were you, if you don't mind? How old were you when you graduated college?
So I graduated high school when I was 18, and so I was 22 when I graduated college.
So you worked for 4 years at IBM? So how hard was it? Let me ask, do you have any, I'll ask you 2 questions. Do you have any regrets from leaving IBM?
From leaving IBM? Okay.
And then 2, how difficult was it when you were 26 years old to leave a company that everybody wants to work for, to go venture out and do something that you're not sure if it's going to happen or not?
So it was fun. IBM has more money than God. When I was there, they made $86 billion a year. They had 300,000 employees worldwide, and they're in every country that you know about to speak of. IBM is the ultimate big business, right? And they're fantastic to work for, right? They are nice to employees. I had an office. We were in a cubicle. We had our own development station. One day they decided that I need to go to Burlington, Vermont. I was working in Austin, Texas. My manager came to my office. He said, "Can you go to Burlington, Vermont?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" I was a single guy, I didn't care. And he's like now. And I said, "What?" He says, "Well, there's a problem up there, and we need somebody from here to go there, and you're our guy. Can you go at 2 o'clock?" It's like 10 in the morning. And I was like, "Well, I have no clean clothes, right?" Because I was a single guy, so I had no clean clothes. And he said, he said, "I don't care. Just send him to the laundry when you get there." Right? So literally, within 4 hours, I went home, packed up my dirty clothes in a suitcase, drove to the airport, flew 2 different airlines because there was an airline strike that day, on an $8,000 plane ticket to Burlington, Vermont. That was just there. That they had to pay again to get back, right?
Did you pay for it?
This is huh?
Did you pay for it?
No, I didn't pay for it.
Oh.
Right? And then they paid for my laundry when I was there, and I mean, it was fantastic. And And I also got on the college recruiting team, and I was flying back here every couple of months. They sent me to spring break in Lake Havasu to recruit ideal employees. And then, and then I convinced them that ski recruiting was the next thing, so they sent me to Colorado to go skiing for a break. I mean, it was kind of fun, and the work we were doing was fantastic. I mean, we were getting written up in the newspaper for the work we were doing because it was so important and big, right? But there's something about it, right? You're working for somebody else. You're working for them. I mean, they pay you a good wage, you live well, you have a nice apartment in Austin, and like, things were going great. But at the end of the day, like, they're making the big bucks. I mean, the stockholders are making the money, the shareholders are making the money, the board's got the experience. Everything's happening for them. And yeah, you can grow up, and maybe by now I'd be a vice president or something like that. And I get to ride a corporate jet every 18 months or something like that. And it'd be great, and they give me these extra perks. But at the end of the day, like, I'd still be wearing my IBM shirt. I'm going to work every day at 8 o'clock, and I'd be doing what they want to do. And if somebody in Armonk, New York, want to cancel my project, my project's canceled. They find me a new job because IBM's a nice organization like that, and they have the resources to do it. But if they don't want me anymore, I'm replaceable. And I always made the joke, I could not show up to work for a week. And I bet no one would have known. I mean, they would have known, but it wouldn't. IBM would have stopped working. I mean, IBM would have just kept going. I mean, they would have had someone else do my job, right? So your question is the regret. Yeah, I mean, it was a fantastic thing. I probably wouldn't have had to work as hard. I may have made more money here and there. But in the end of the day, no, I think that I really made the right choice in that I probably made more money by being in charge of what I'm doing, and I have the flexibility, and I can go do things, and I can make decisions about consulting 27 people above me. I'm not constantly worried if the person over here is going to take my position, or if the guy up there is going to cancel my project and have me move to Rochester, Minnesota, and work there for them, right? So I'm really in charge of my own destiny. That comes with risks. I mean, you guys will find out if you're in charge of your destiny, you can fail. And a lot of times you fail 3 times before you succeed, so don't be discouraged if you fail, but there's risk out there too. It's more fun. I think it's more fun to have your own kind of future kind of in your hands.
Well, actually, what you're saying in summary is that you found out that the shareholder is more important than the employee, so why not become the shareholder?
Yeah, there you go. I mean, the owner is the ultimate decider, right? And in the company, the shareholders and the board, I mean, they're the ultimate deciders, and they're deciding what's best for their interests, right? And you're a piece of the cog. And the same thing for the folks who work for me. I mean, we treat them as best we can, and we do that. And sometimes they disagree with what we want to do, but we say, no, this is where we need to go. And for right or for wrong, we're the deciders. And if you guys move these companies forward, and Robert tells me you're going to form a board of the folks that could possibly invest in your organization, your companies, and give you 3 months of money, those 3 months you're going to decide what you're going to do, right? You're going to have a fixed amount of money and a project. And you can either make it succeed or you can make it fail, right? Or you can probably not land anywhere else in between. It's either going to succeed and take off, or it's going to fail. And if it fails, my dad always says that, if there's a salesman would go out to the place, he always said I'd have to knock on 10 doors to make a sale, right? Because, not everybody buys my vacuum cleaner or whatever it was. He says, so you knock on the first door, and the guy would slam the door in his face, and he'd go, and he'd smile. And my dad said, well, why do you smile when you walk away? He says, well, I just made 1/10 of a sale. I just need 9 more, and then I get my final sale, I make my money, right? So the same thing with entrepreneurship and with starting ideas and things like that. It's going to take a bunch before you succeed. I ran for the harbor commissioner, and I really tried hard to run for office, and I lost. And everybody's like, you know what? Even Sylvia outside, she was just here saying, you got to lose a couple before you win. Yeah, it's the same thing with business or anything you try, getting a girlfriend or a boyfriend. I mean, or a wife or husband or whatever. You'll lose a whole bunch before you actually find one that works. So, I mean, that's my thoughts on you guys.
So Tim's here for about 2 more minutes. Anybody have any questions for him that you'd like to ask?
Getting a wife, husband, I can answer those questions.
Timur, we have our group is a really multi-talented group of folks, and many of them are aspiring to go to school, some medical school, some engineering, some want to create products, so they're really an eclectic group. And so what is your view about going to school, adding to skills, what can you kind of generally tell them about that journey forward? What kinds of things that they should try to push forward with?
So my dad always said that the point of going to college is not really learn how to do anything, but the point of going to college is learn how to think and problem solve, right? So you're going to get assignments, you're going to get projects, you're going to have to finish them on your own. In high school, you have a lot of people kind of watching over you and making sure you get things done and getting the way through. But if you remember the step from junior high to high school, I mean, you were on your own a lot. Getting from class to class, getting all these things done. Junior high, high school is a big step. High school to college is again a big step, right? So you're going to be more responsible, more self-sufficient, have a lot more things that you just have to do on your own to make yourself succeed. And so back to this whole like failing a bunch of times, right? College is going to prepare you to be more successful on your own and have your own responsibilities. So I tell people, go to college for what interests you. Right? Engineering interested me because honestly, I didn't want to learn a foreign language, and engineering was really one of the only curriculums that didn't have a foreign language requirement. and my dad was an engineer. I like taking things apart and fixing them, so I figured, great match, right? Electrical engineering, I like computers and this sort of stuff. And computer science is a language requirement. I may have actually been a computer science major, but because I would have to take French or Spanish or Latin or something like that, I was like, forget about it. But go to college, take something that interests you, and chase it. And be at college again. I mean, my point when I opened up was get involved in the university. You're not going there just to learn how to wire a transistor or make a light blink or write some computer code. You're going there to like grow up and learn how to problem solve, learn how to think through problems and come up with solutions and put them out there. And so, and if you guys have entrepreneur minds, I mean, the folks that you meet in college, whether it's community college or Stanford or you go to Stanford, that sucks. But USC or an Ivy League school or something like that, you would you're going to meet people. Those people are going to be who carry you through and give you ideas and bounce ideas off of them. Perhaps your business partner or confidant. So I would say, long-winded answer. You're going there to get experience, and experience is something that teach you to problem solve and think. And that's kind of my answer for that.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we have about one more question. Also, one of the things you mentioned is about your attempting to do public service, right?
Yeah.
On that road, I always, a political science major, I always want to encourage you to do that. So, Josue, what's your question?
Do you recommend marriage while you're being an entrepreneur?
While you're being an entrepreneur?
Because I think Robert gave us a word of wisdom one time, didn't you? Saying, you said don't get married till later.
Don't get married till later. So I am, how old am I? I'm 4 years old in February. I'll be 4 years old this February. I didn't get married until I was 37, right? And and honestly, along the way, you'll find that there's people that are really supportive, and there's people that aren't supportive, and there's people that you can go different ways, and they'll follow you in different ways, or you'll follow them in different ways. It's a real push and pull. I mean, you can say, don't go to graduate school, husband or wife, but yet they have graduate housing and people have kids in grad school, and you're like, how in the heck can someone go to grad school and have a 4-month-old kid? I still can't comprehend that myself, right? I have a 4-month-old kid. Can't imagine how someone could do anything else with it. But so I guess the point is, if you find the right person, that right person's your life partner, and they're just going to follow you, and you're going to follow them, and you're going to find your way together, right? The key is though, when you have your own business, you're spending a lot of time, especially in the beginning. You're spending 60, 70 hours a week. Like my wife still complains that I'm on vacation. We went to the Cayman Islands because her family goes there all the time. I swear there's secret money over there. Don't take that. But we went there, and I was on a conference call every day for like an hour. And she's like, get off the phone, we're on vacation in the Caribbean. And I was like, I had to do this call. And one day it was like 3 hours, and she was living mad. But that balances me a little bit, right? I probably shouldn't be on the phone for 3 hours when I'm on vacation in the Caribbean. But it's one of those things, like they have to understand, and you have to have that conversation. They have to be ready for that. And can you find the right person at 18? Absolutely. Is it going to be really hard? Yes. Can you find the right person at 38? Yes. Is it really easy? No. Right? I mean, so I feel like the older you get, the better you are to like make judgments and do things. But at the same time, I have a friend of mine, he owns an architecture firm in downtown Oxnard, and his wife was a friend of mine in high school. They got married the day they graduated in high school, and he's got a great architecture firm in downtown Oxnard, and she stayed home with kids, and now she cooks food for probably the high school, some of the high schools he goes to. And it's amazing. Like they have 2 businesses they built from scratch, and they're both successful, and they're married when they're 18. But you know, it's not the only place. So yeah, it happens. All right, well, thank you guys. I'm sorry I forgot.